All right. So listen, first of all, thank you for coming. You're officially my first guest on Alf Talks, and I want you to be the first, okay? Because you know what? We chat about a lot of things. We talk about a lot of stuff, and I find it very fascinating with the steps and stuff you're doing, right? So let me introduce you to the audience. This is a old friend of mine, Kevin, aka Wise, aka Noel, aka Trail Action Hero. That's the moniker that he goes by, Trail Action Hero, because he's known to take multiple steps during the day. Some has ranged from 10,000 a day or even better, 25, 40. I even tried one day, try to compete with this guy. Bad move. I end up being hurt the next day, laid up in bed, trying to recuperate. But, I wanted to, I wanted to bring him on to, throw some questions at you, see what motivates you. Why are you doing this? And, let me just lob my first thing at you, man. So what first inspired you to start walking, trying to take these high steps that you do right now? And right now, as we speak, you're taking steps right now. You're walking, you're in action. What inspired you to do this?
Thanks for inviting me, Al. And it's a pleasure to be here with you. And I'll say this, man, I've been an active guy throughout my life. And when the pandemic hit, the pandemic was the reason I moved from the gym to the outdoor gym, which is the world. So we went through a point in time where we didn't have access to our gyms anymore. We didn't have access to the people we used to work out with, all of that. And it hurt. It hurt as far as something inside of me was saying, if we know better, do better. So we got to do better. What are we going to do? So I grabbed my shoes and I put feet to concrete. Before I knew it, it was the one thing that was helping me stay fit. And it was a way to burn off energy, burn off some of the negative that was going on in life, burn off the energy of the uncertainty that we go through in life. What's happening? We're going through a pandemic. People I know were sick. What can I do? And I decided the best thing that I could do is to take care of myself. And I got into walking day in and day out. And it became a lifeline for me, became a way for me to keep a level of sanity, still work out, and also to take some time in life to then, as we were going through that pandemic, gave us a break to look at life and kind of see what's going on and reassess your own life and see what you've been doing. Because now I'm on the other side of 50 and I had to change up the habits. So that's what got me started.
All right, that's good. So I see COVID was kind of like the turning point where you really took this serious, basically. Where you're like, you know what? Let me get up out of here and start moving, getting out the house and walk. Right? So what about this? So how has your walking journey evolved from a personal habit into something that's influencing others? Because I know you have a little following, and I know you've influenced certain people to do the same.
Yeah. I didn't have a step counter, what they call a pedometer. I didn't have any of that in the beginning. I was just doing it. I was just going out, going for a walk, finding new places. I'm a New Yorker. I'm from New York. So what's a better landscape and canvas to explore than the city of New York? Started going different places, going for a walk, all of these different parks. New York has 5,000 parks, 5,000 parks in New York alone.
I'm gonna have to fact check you on that one. 5,000 parks
Throughout the state of New
Wow,
York, there's
that's a
over
lot. I didn't know that.
5,000 parks, right? We're not talking about big parks. We're talking about your little local park that they put a plaque on.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of New York City Parks Department. So I started going to different parks and I got a step counter, tracking it. And my sister told me
Okay.
2 months into it,
All right.
he said, why don't you put that out there? Why don't you show people what you're doing? Because this is amazing. You know what I mean? You're walking 10 miles a day. And to me, it was just something I was doing. I didn't realize it was
Yeah, I got you.
something that was going to change my life and the life of others. I got on Instagram, created a channel, and now I'm up to like 4,000 or 5,000 people who follow me. Hundreds of people like the stuff I put out. And what's interesting is I didn't know I was going to touch all the corners of the world. You know what I mean? I didn't know that I would have people in Australia, people in Europe, people all the way in Asia, people right here in New York, people on the other side of the country, people throughout the planet that would tap in and say, hey, thank you for encouraging and inspiring me to do something as simple as going for a walk. And the places that I go and I
We need
visit.
it. We all need that inspiration, bro. We all need that inspiration. Do you remember your first big milestone? Like a big number that you hit where you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is getting crazy."
Yeah. I had 40,000
Your
steps,
first big milestone of steps,
40,000 steps,
and
which
that was
is
in one day.
the equivalent of 20 miles, 20 miles in one day. And that was in
I'm sorry. So you said 40,000. That's the so 40,000 steps is the equivalent of what?
20 miles. So 2,000 steps is the equivalent of 1 mile. So for
Got you. So basically,
those out
you
there
almost did a marathon, basically.
yeah, almost did a marathon. And it felt good.
Was
I
that
woke
in
up
one?
early.
Was that in one?
No, not one sitting. No. I woke up early, went out, did 10 miles, rested up, came back home. And this is during the pandemic. So, I was on furlough at the time. So I had the whole day, came
Okay.
back home, chilled, ate, whatever.
Got you.
And then later on in the day, I just felt good, went back out, did it all over again, another 10 miles. So that's when I said to myself, wow, I just did 20 miles in one day. It was just something amazing. It just
That's
hit me.
insane.
And then I was able to bounce back the next day and still do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 miles. So
wow,
that's when I said, I think I found something that works for me,
Okay. That's crazy. Like I told you, I tried one day. I got one of the apps and I did attempt to do a lot of steps. I got up to like, what was it? Was it 28,000? I think that day that I was trying to beat you and Pat. And
oh no, you did 40.
dude, it was a lot of walking.
47,000 steps. 47,000.
I did.
Yeah.
That was a lot. That was a lot of
impressive.
steps. But to do all those steps, I was walking everywhere. Literally, I was walking to the gym. I walked all the way to friends' houses. And I live in Long Island, so the walks are long. But after a while, it got tough, and I'm like, wow, to be consistently doing that, it's a tough thing, real tough. So let me ask you a question: like, what physical or mental health benefits have you noticed since you've committed yourself to like doing these daily walks?
That's a great question. I'll say this. I worked for one of the biggest hotels in the world. And one thing about people in hospitality, you're on your feet a lot. So over a 10-year stretch, I developed all type of foot pains, all type of knee pains, all type of ankle, Achilles, you name it. I was feeling it. And going on a walk, all those walks that I did strengthened my legs, strengthened my feet. So the pain that I had in my feet disappeared. One day you wake up and the pain wasn't there anymore. It wasn't like.
And this is from doing the daily walks. This started happening. This is from your daily walks. It started happening.
This is from the daily walks. And one thing leads to another. So my diet, the drinking, the hanging out, if it affected my walks, I wouldn't do it anymore. Right? So I cut back on the drinking.
That's commitment right there.
Right. Because the next day.
I like the drinks.
The next day, I would be sluggish. I wouldn't feel it. I wouldn't want to get out of the bed much, because you're hurt. And after you do it once, twice, there wasn't a third time.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I made that a priority.
Okay.
So my leg, physically, I became stronger.
So, okay, I was just about to jump into that. So what about, like, you're doing a lot of walking. That's a lot of wear and tear in the body. What about sleep? Like stress levels and all that other stuff. Does that like calm you down? Do you sleep even better, or you wake up feeling tired? How does that work?
Man, I sleep like a baby. So I always slept like a baby. So
okay, so this didn't affect anything. Hanging out, drinking, sleeping like a baby, walking a gazillion miles, doesn't matter.
The walk helps. It does. Because what it does is, like right now, it's sunset. So the sun is setting. This is my evening walk time. So after a meal, I go out for a walk, eat my meal, go out for a walk, and I walk it off. It also gives me some time and space to talk to friends such as yourself, to things that I would normally do around the house. Sit down in front of the TV and kick it with your friends on the phone, your lady, whomever. These are things that I can now do on the move. So my digestion is better. My body, my rhythm. I wasn't a morning person, but in order to do these morning walks, I wake up early to do the morning walks. Why? Because I've noticed how when I start the day with a morning walk, that energy carries throughout the whole day. So it's my own natural coffee.
All right. Listen, with everything in life, right? It takes hardcore discipline, a crazy mindset of like being focused and doing what you got to do. So on days you don't feel like walking, how do you keep yourself going? Like, how do you push yourself to be like, yeah, I'm gonna do this? Because this is not easy. Like,
Well,
this is
that's
not
great.
easy. And I also want you to tell the audience the most steps you've taken in 1 month, because the number these people are gonna hear is gonna be crazy. So let's start with the days you don't want to do. How do you keep yourself on that discipline regimen, and then lay into the most steps you've taken in a month? Because
So many
I know
things come
that
to
right there.
mind.
When I saw that number, I was insane. Okay.
So many things come to
Like what?
mind.
Let me hear some.
Well, my own vitality comes into mind. I know I'm here for a certain time, and I understand that there's a part of me that I want a good quality of life. I don't want the back end of my life to be me dependent upon others. I don't depend on people now, and I don't want that to be the script for me down the road. So, you know better, you do better. So if you put in that energy consistently, then you say, hey, what about them days you don't feel it? Those drunk days that I was talking
Yeah.
about, where the next day hits, those are the days when you get up
Yep.
and you say, you know what? You got to earn those drinks that you had, right? You had fun drinking them. Now
Mm.
you got to burn them off, right? So those are the days.
That's
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 the
how you got to
energy.
get it.
That's how you have to find something to associate yourself to. Me, I say, all right, I got to earn my meal. But I enjoy walking. It's become something I love to do. I love doing it because a body in motion stays in motion. So a positive mind can only lead to another positive result. Walking helps me stay in a positive script of life. So if you're going through something, go for a
So,
walk. You'll feel better.
all right. So what's your biggest month that you've had so far? Thus far in this trail action hero journey of yours? The biggest month.
Biggest month. I've done 300-mile months. I've had my
Say
biggest
that again.
300-mile month, 300-mile months,
Wow.
which is
Could you equate that to steps? Because I know you knew what those steps were for 300 miles. That's a lot.
300 miles a month is 600,000 steps. And that is the equivalent of, you have to keep a 10-mile a day pace. So every day for 30 days, you're doing 10 miles. I break up my months into 3 sections every 10 days. So every 10 days, I look at myself and I look at my progress. So if I'm at 100 miles after 10 days, that means I'm on a certain pace. So normally, my normal months, there isn't a month that 200 is the bottom. That's it. 200-mile months. Each month must be at
So
least
that's
200
like
miles.
that's your minimum, really.
Right.
Wow.
That's the equivalent of 7 miles a day. So that comes up to about,
Okay.
210 miles for the month. My average, I would say, somewhere between 225 to 250 on a monthly basis. And we're talking about, I'm an outdoor walker. I have a walk pad that I use, but I'm primarily an outdoor walker. So I like to layer up, and it doesn't matter what the weather is. If it's raining, naturally, you do indoor steps, or you go to the gym and you get it on the treadmill, But if it's cold, if it's windy, if it's hot, it don't matter. We put feet to concrete because nothing stops progress.
All right. So when you're walking, do you prefer walking alone? Are you listening to music? Are you listening to podcasts? Are you with people? What's the deal?
Hey, I take it how I get it. If my friends, family, whomever want to speak, we speak. If I want to listen to, okay, let's put it this way. My morning walks primarily are me, because nobody's really up 6 a.m. to chit chat. You know what I'm saying? So
I got you.
those,
Well, hey, man, I got you. Or people getting ready to go to work or whatever the case may be.
right,
That
right.
6 morning
6
walk.
a.m.
Or in the gym.
In the gym, right. So 6 a.m., your lady will hit you up when, stuff like that. But for the most, those are the times where I'm either not listening to, just listening to the birds, stuff like that. It's beautiful. When you get up in the morning, you hear the birds singing through the neighborhood, or you take a ride over to one of your favorite trails and you go on the trail. And as the sun comes up, you feel as if there's an energy that you've conquered the day already because you've greeted the day in a specific way. And then you get back home, change, shower, go about your day, do what you got to do. So when you ask if I speak with people, I do prefer walking by myself, but I don't mind. I've done group walks. I do group walks with people. I set up groups for walks. I was working with, prior to my mother passing away, there was an old timers crew. Yeah, you know, and I wish I was able to inspire her at an earlier age, but she got to a point where she wasn't much of a walker anymore. But I was able to inspire so many of the elderly that I used to go walking with. And that was good because you see the effect on them, their mental health. And that's an exercise that walking's a great exercise.
Absolutely. Old people or elderly people, I like to say, they have to move, man. When they stop moving, that's when things stop working, you know? So walking is to them, that's a beautiful tool to have in a tool belt that they need to use more often, you know? So yeah, that's great. If you're doing that, that's a great thing. But with all this
Wednesday
walking,
used to be my elderly crew.
you know what I'm saying? With all this walking, have you faced any injuries? Because that's a lot. Like, that's just a lot of miles. Like, that is a lot of miles that you're putting down. And how many sneakers are you changing a month if you're putting all these miles? That must be like, how many are you going through?
You know, I go through at least each quarter, 3 months, one or two pairs, because, well, the beauty is this: you break them in, and then you have about a 60-day period where they're broken in, and they feel really good, and then the sole gets a bit eaten up. So, yeah, you know, and as far as injuries go,
you're burning rubber, dogs. You're burning rubber.
Hey, I say we put feet to concrete. And New York, that's where you know what I mean? This is concrete jungle is where we at. So, yeah. At times, depending on if I'm not stretching enough, diet, sciatica. Sciatica has been an issue where, it's been something where, hey, it's tough. I didn't have it before, but I didn't have it, but it's something where when I'm not stretching, you have to stretch. And I'm the kind of person where, you know, I don't really like to stretch. So if you're the type of person that doesn't like to warm up the car and you just like to get in the car on the coldest day and just go, you might not be a stretcher.
Fuel injection, baby. Press the button and go.
Right. Press the button and you're going.
Fuel injection, press the button and go.
Right. So that's me.
It's funny because I remember I remember talking to you and I was like, what the hell is this sciatica thing you keep crying about? Oh, leg up the pain, all this stuff. It was crazy. And I'm like, wow, man, I said all that walking, but like, you're back at it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, look, nothing stops progress. That's my own ignorance.
Yeah, I feel you're right about that.
Sciatica. That's me not taking better care of myself. And when you know better, you do better. So that's about the only injury. I haven't, nothing else, feet, ankle. Look, you got to watch where you're walking. You know what I mean? Late nights, right now, you're walking on the sidewalk, watch where you're walking. That's one of the keys. Don't get all caught up with, looking all around. No. Pay attention. You know, cars coming by.
So you're paying attention. You're on the streets of New York, which is crazy. Things are happening. But of all these places you've walked, what is like one of your favorites? Like, this is my spot. I love doing this walk. This is my peace spot right here. This is the spot where I'm happy at.
Depends on the borough. Each borough has its own place that I really enjoy. If we're talking about Manhattan.
Well, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from
Brooklyn.
And I know you BK. So let's stay with Brooklyn. Let's stick with Brooklyn. Yeah.
Prospect Park, without a doubt. Brooklyn Bridge Park.
I love Prospect Park, man. I love Prospect Park.